So let's just get right into our guest. He's a guy full of energy, very personable, doesn't shy away from the camera. So this will be a very funny, intriguing conversation. From 2010 to 2014, he wore number 5 for the Dayton Flyers. Devin Oliver, aka Demo. What's going on, bro? How you doing, man?
Go Dayton Flyers. D
Already.
Y T O. Day Fly. Go UD. Come on, baby. Let's go.
Demo, man, I appreciate you jumping on here, man. And I know this will be a very good conversation that we
We're gonna
get
have some good
into.
we're gonna have some good confos, man. First and foremost, let me just say, B Rob, like, we never really interacted a lot before, but in the last few years we've had a little bit more conversation, man. I just want to, from the jump, give you flowers, bro. You set the precedent. I know we had a lot of flyer greats, but you set the precedent, bro. I always admired seeing you. I know you've been a dad for a long time, and just
Long
seeing
time.
everything you've done representing the University of Dane, bro. I just want to, commend you and say it's an honor to be on here today. I'm happy to be here. It's
No,
easy for me.
I appreciate you, man. Another thing, us mixed guys, we gotta stick together. You know what I'm saying? So
Got to.
that's
Hey,
part
hey.
of why we had to, I had to get you on early. So
Chameleons got to stay together. You know what I mean? We got to stay
exactly.
together.
Exactly. Nah, this is great, man. I'm glad we could make this happen. But before we jump into it, man, I want you to finish this line for me. All right.
Okay, okay.
Oh snap! It's the man with the big
Oh,
gap.
oh snap! It's the man with the big gap. Bridge the
There we go.
gap. Yeah.
There we
Oh my
go.
God, I
Hey,
forgot
listen,
my tagline.
listen. For
Oh, that's
those,
big
for
time.
those who don't know,
That's big time.
my man Devin jumped into the podcast world just for a little bit. Me doing this, I tend to do a little background check on
I
people. So
professional, of
I
course.
saw, yeah, I saw, you had a few
Snapped, man.
episodes, and
Yeah,
so I was like, let's bring it back, see if he can recall that tagline.
that's
So
bad. I can't remember. Oh snap! It's the man with the gap. I forgot. I forgot.
yeah, it was before you clap.
Before you clap, let's bridge the gap.
Yeah, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
I was in Japan, bro, and it was like right after COVID, and Japan's lockdown rules were crazy. So I was there solo. My wife, now we were engaged at the time, but she couldn't come to Japan to see me. And I was just over there super bored. A lot of
Yeah,
things were locked down, and I was like, let me start something. And it like we kind of talked about it before. A lot of it's watered down now with the podcast, but I was just like, especially the way the world was trending, I was like, people just can't have conversation anymore. Let me just start some conversation, hear
yeah.
people's story, and maybe it'll start to pick up something. It was never a thing where I wanted to be like something big, but just to get people's stories out there. That's funny.
You only had 7 episodes, so was it just like a little temporary thing, or life just happened where you were just like, all right, I'm gonna just let it go?
Life just happened. Being a little lazy, probably. And, just also my lifestyle now, I'm constantly moving around still. So, like, I wanted the proper equipment. I wanted things to be set up the right way and just
Gotcha.
got out of it. But now I'm inspired. Now I'm inspired. I'm going to get back into it.
There you go. Yeah,
And we're
listen,
going to get
man.
B-Rob on there.
I
Yeah,
see
yeah,
it.
yeah.
I saw it. I saw it. So I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
all right.
I was
You
enjoying it
fit
though.
good, and it
Enjoying
fits your personality for sure. So right now, I guess let's talk about where you at right now. You're in France in the French league.
it. Yeah.
Is it how do you pronounce it? C?
Yeah, Nancy. Yep.
I see.
Yep.
Okay.
Nancy.
How's it
Yep.
how's it going? I guess this season so far.
It's good. It's good. Very good as of late. We've won 4 of our last 5. And I mean, basketball, whether that's NBA, overseas, high school, middle school, if you're winning, life is great. Life is great. So we've been winning, and it's been good. My family is enjoying being here in Europe. My wife is European, so everything is real smooth right now.
Nice, nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll get into kind of the European career
Yeah.
a little bit later. And
Yeah.
right now we're kind of over the March
Yeah.
Madness. This is territory that you and a couple of your Flyer teammates
Yeah.
are familiar with. Before we jump into that also, let's go back to Kalamazoo, Michigan, and you coming up. Was basketball always like on the agenda? Was it always a part of your makeup?
Yeah, for sure. My mom and dad both played at Western Michigan University in the MAC conference. My uncle played at University of Missouri, and then a couple of my dad's brothers played JUCO. My mom is from Grand Rapids, and then my dad's family from Chicago. So basketball's always been around for
Yeah.
sure. And I wouldn't say I was ever even really pushed into it. I always saw it. It was always around me, and I was just always intrigued by it. And in Kalamazoo. It's weird because Derek Jeter is from Kalamazoo and went to my high school, so you would think baseball is like the biggest thing, but all my friends hooped. Honestly, I wish I would have played baseball because I could have had a beer belly as long as
Yeah.
I threw like 90 on the mound, I was good.
Yeah. Lefty, 6'8",
What?
you know what I'm
Oh my
saying? That would have
gosh.
been
But
that would have been crazy.
none of my friends were playing baseball, So I want to do what my friends are doing.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, basketball was always around. It was always around. As long as
Gotcha.
my friends were doing it, I was playing it.
Right. So at what point, I guess, did you see yourself playing at obviously the high school level, but then also the collegiate level? Like talk about right before UD, your recruitment, how
Yeah.
you played in high school and stuff like that.
Yeah, so it was all very new to us. Obviously when mom and dad were coming to college, the landscape of basketball was completely different, especially in regards to recruiting and all that stuff.
Right.
But my sophomore year was the first time I was on varsity, and then going into my junior year, we got a new coach. And Mike Thomas, I got to shout my guy Mike T. I probably wouldn't even be a pro without this guy now.
Okay.
He came from Saginaw. He's from Saginaw, Michigan, and he called me when he got the job. It was like, "Yo, this is Mike Thomas. I'm your new coach. You gonna be the guy. I'm just letting you know. You gonna." He told me I was on the golf course.
Mm.
You gonna be unanimous first team All State. We gonna win a state championship, and you're gonna go play college basketball. I was like, "What the hell?"
Right.
And now to this day, I'm the godfather of his son.
Oh wow. Wow.
And that junior year, like I just needed confidence, man. You talked
Yeah.
about us being mixed kids, so it was like constantly a thing for me. Like I'm not white enough or I'm not black enough. So I was at that time, especially, I was still finding my identity,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and basketball was the perfect outlet for that. And when he instilled that confidence in me, I was like, cool. In that first year, man, I blossomed. Before that, I wasn't really recruited. I had no interest. I was just a skinny kid,
Yeah.
and we ended up going to the state that year. We lost to Keith Appling and
Okay.
uh Juwan Howard Jr. Detroit Pershing team. They beat us that year.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
but I
Yep.
had I had all the first team all state accolades, and then the next year we won the state championship. But it was due to this my coach Mike Thomas. He changed everything
Wow.
for me. And honestly, the recruitment process was super interesting. I didn't really know what was going on. I
Right.
was like this close to committing to Butler. Brad Stevens was like Brad Stevens loved me and had offered me a scholarship. We went down there, and I was like, it's funny because I put this on my pops. I blame my dad for this because I was like, I want to commit. I want to come to the
You
school.
were you were a bulldog, so you was all sold. You was
I
ready to
was
go.
I was ready. I was like, yeah, let me do this. And Brad Stevens was like, it's okay, we'll wait. I don't know anything about the recruiting process. He's like, we'll wait, and we waited. I don't know how long it was now, but next thing you know, boom, someone else had signed, and my scholarship was gone. And I was like,
Dang.
at the time, it was like, okay. But then they hit the national championships.
I was gonna say that's about the time where they was they
Gordon
was over
Hayward
here
and oh man,
shoving Mac and
so man, yeah, it was tough. But obviously it ended up working out.
yeah, right, right, right.
But yeah, I got recruited late, man. I was a late bloomer, and I mean, you might get into this asking me this, but like Cornell Mann,
Okay,
he
okay.
was he was at Western Michigan before,
Yeah,
so
that's
he
right,
was kind
that's right.
yeah, he was a family friend, and honestly, man, Corn went out on a limb for me, and basically sold BG on me that I had some potential. So I got to give a lot of credit to Coach Corn too. He
Okay.
basically yeah
Link, he was that link to get you to UD. So I didn't know, well, obviously I didn't know the Butler story, but
yeah.
I was wondering if you were recruited solely by Archie or BG. So BG was there when you committed?
BG was my freshman year. He was my coach,
Okay.
but I never had any conversation with BG.
Okay.
It was all through Corn,
Strictly through corn. Okay.
strictly through Corn, and Corn got me the scholarship. And I remember that was my junior year of high school. And then my senior year, we went to the state championship and ended up winning. And I played really good in the state championship game, and BG was at that game. So
Okay.
I think that probably gave me a little bit of credibility,
Yeah, that validated,
a
the
little bit.
whole
Yeah.
process at
It's
that
like,
point.
okay,
Right.
there might be something there.
Right, right. Okay. Got you.
Yeah.
Got you.
Yeah.
So you win the state championship and then you get to UD. The first 2 years, just looking at it, you played here and there,
Yeah. Yeah.
but as you get into, I guess, your junior and then senior year, there was some like real incremental improvements in your game and just, your output and your production. At the time, the only Flyer to get MVP and the Chris Daniels Most Improved Player in the same year.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty big time, man. So I guess
Yeah.
I guess touch on that growth to where you just had a huge jump the last two years.
Yeah. One thing I want to say real quick about my freshman year, though, I have to say
Go ahead,
BG
yeah.
mentally got me ready for the landscape of college basketball because I'll never forget when I first got there, I was like, never had lifted any weights or anything before that. And I got there and it was like, I remember I called my dad, like, we had like 5:30 a.m. workouts. Like I'm carrying C right on my back, like
Around the
the
concourse?
fireman with Muley, bro. Crazy.
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah.
what is I call my dad like, Dad, I don't think I can do this. Like he was like, well, you can't come back here, so you got to figure it out. You got to figure it
Right,
out.
right.
So at the time, it was like mind-boggling that I was going through that, but it mentally got me very much ready for everything else. But to my
Got you.
junior and senior year, I mean, I've been critical of Arch, like social media wise, not attacking him specifically, but just giving my viewpoint of everything and how everything
Mhm.
went
Mhm.
down. But one thing I can say about Arch is, man, he developed the hell out of me. Like I just
Yeah.
remember the consistent individual work of like we're shooting every single day. Like I feel like I always had, a good skill set and where I can do a little bit of everything on the court. But
Right.
you know how it is, like when you really got confidence in your jumper. I mean, maybe you don't. You was always scoring the
Nah,
damn
no,
ball.
but confident. Nah, I mean, I'm with you though with the confidence thing, man.
But as basketball
That.
players, you get reps, you putting the work in, you start to believe in your jumper, and once you start believing that, you believe in everything else. And we just got so much work in. He continued to push me. I think another big part of it too was like I just stayed committed throughout everything. I was the last guy in my class that originally came in, and we were like
Okay.
a top 15 class.
Mhm.
By that time I was starting to get some love from the fans at Dayton and the community. I'm a family guy, so like
Yeah.
I fell back into that kind of mindset of things, and it just year by year, day by day, practice by practice, game by game, my confidence just continued to build. After my junior year,
Y'all struggled a little bit that
yeah, it was a
year, if
tough
I'm
year. It
not.
was
Yeah.
19 and 17 or something, like 19 and 16 or something like that.
Mhm.
And I actually wanted to transfer, but back then we weren't getting
There
300.
was a penalty. There was a
We
penalty to
weren't getting,
transfer,
yeah,
and there was no money.
we weren't getting $300,000 and be able to go play immediately. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I
Right.
was like, you know
Right.
what? And just kind of how I was raised, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna stick this out. I'm gonna play this out, finish what I started, and see what happens with it.
That
On
that
the way.
leads right into that senior year. I guess you kind of already alluded to, just sticking it out. Was there any real feeling like, okay, we have a special team here? I'm trying to think of the makeup of the team. Was there a lot of seniors on that team or young
Yeah, it
guys
was.
or?
Yeah, it was a good. Actually, it was a perfect mix. We had like three or four. We had three seniors. It was me, V Sanford, and
Hmm.
Matt Kavanaugh,
Hmm.
and Brian Vonderhaar as well. But Brian BV was a walk on, and then we had the three. Scooch and them, they're Archie's original class, Scoochie, Kendall, Kyle, which obviously went on to be the most winning at
Yeah.
UD. Yeah, no. So, but those were our freshmen, but they were already kind of ready. And then we had D. Scott, we had Jalen, we had
Hmm.
Cyber, who was a transfer.
Right.
So we had Deshaun, Deshaun Pierre, who's a sophomore. Like, so it was like the perfect mix of guys. But I don't know. We didn't like. It's funny because my mom just got here, so like, and I was like, I'm getting on with B-Rob. She was like, well, we gotta watch some Dayton highlights. Let's pull some Dayton highlights up. So we were watching the Ole Miss game, and at that time we were 11 or 10 and 3. I think that game made us 11 and 3.
Hmm.
So it was like, okay, wow, we like our non-conference was good. We're sitting okay,
Really good.
like,
Really good. Yeah.
and then conference started and we just started terrible, 0 for 5 in conference. But I think three of the games we lost on but literal buzzer beaters.
That's the thing. Like, that's the similar thing that happened to me, and it's happened again this year, and it's happened
Yeah,
before. What is going on with UD teams where the non-conference, we look
we're
like we
good.
top 10 every
We're
year, every
good.
single year, and
I'm
then we
watching the
get
guys
to
at
the
Maui
A10.
like, look at us.
Exactly. That's what I've been trying to figure out. I think it's a mix of, okay, teams get up when they play Dayton. They know
Yeah,
whether they playing at UD or at their home, Dayton is going to bring more eyes.
the history, the fan base. We're gonna travel, whether it's away. If it's away, if you at UD Arena, you know how that's going. So like,
Yeah, it's just
yeah,
crazy.
I don't
Like,
know what it is.
we never really played well at G Dub either. Like, if I can recall, these smaller
Hmm.
gyms, UMass is cold. It's not that many people in there. It's just like it's tough to get up for. But
Yeah,
we know like, okay, we got to play. Like, cause these teams don't care. They come out and hoop. They making way more threes than normal. There's just a little extra energy behind them. But
yeah.
every year it happens like this, huh?
It's like I tell people now, like A10 deserves more respect.
They
Understand?
do. They do 100%. Speaking of more respect to the A10, looking at the year y'all came out in 2014, do you know how many A10 teams made the tournament that year?
Yeah, it might have been six total. No, it was
There was
crazy that
six
year.
A10 teams that made the tournament.
Six.
It's a one big lead now, but it's the same good comp. It's good teams like VCU. They won the
Yeah,
tournament, so they get in. But
yeah,
I mean, you look at
yeah.
George Mason and the year that they had, and then obviously Dayton
Incredible.
was right there. It's like,
First time
man, these
ever.
teams.
I think George Mason first time ever going to the Atlantic 10 championship this year, right?
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
bro, these are good basketball teams.
So it's just
Gritty.
crazy to see, how we can go from six A10 teams to just one. Yeah, getting into that A10 season, like you said, rough stretch where you lost some games, but getting into the A10 tournament, you guys lost to St. Joe's. And so at that point, were you guys even thinking you were in the tournament?
When we went down 0-5. One thing about that group was we were super, super connected. And I think even as a professional from that team, I've kind of carried that with me wherever I went to try and be the guy that gets everyone to buy into something.
Hmm.
Our
Hmm.
mantra that year was true team. We
Hmm.
literally came together and was like, we don't care what else is going on. These guys, we got to do it. Let's go out there and hoop. I mean, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I kind of called the meeting to get that together.
Okay, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. Coach,
But
captain, that's part of the duties.
that's what you're supposed to do. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And we came together and we just like shut everything else out and we locked in. So I just want to say that because those are my guys
Gotcha.
forever.
Yeah, for sure. Oh,
Um,
absolutely.
but I remember late in the season we went on to St. Louis on the road and they were poised to win. They were gonna if they beat us, they were like 12th or 14th at the time when we went to St. Louis to play them. And they had a good team. Rob Lowe, Dwayne Evans. I played Dwayne Evans, I don't know how many times as a professional.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um I forget the guard's name. Not Kwame Brown, but
Yeah,
Kwame Mitchell, maybe.
yeah, I can see.
Jordan Air Jet with the dreads.
Yeah,
They had
nah,
a
they were
good team.
good.
They had a good team. And I'll never forget that shoot around. I love the Dayton lore stories. That shoot around, they had the ladders behind the hoops and the scissors were attached.
Mm.
And we were like, oh, and basically we had to win this game if we had any chance of getting into the NCAA tournament. And man, we found a way, we got it done. So that was a big win. And that helped our resume. And then I remember we were hovering like last four out, first four in, last four out, first four in. You know how the NCAA is, especially at that time, like they're looking for stories.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah. Oh yeah.
Ohio State was that sixth seed. And I think they were just like, why not? We might as well.
Right,
So we
right.
we we had selection Sunday. I think if I remember correctly, we were at Archie's house, and we didn't know for sure, but from what people had told us, we were going to get in. And man, I'll never forget when we saw our names on there. I was just like, because this is it. Hey, this is it for me.
Yeah, that's
This is the last
senior
chance to be
year.
in there. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Our freshman year, we went to the Atlantic 10 championship, and sophomore year. sophomore year NIT. Remember we had to go, we had to go play Iowa in Iowa, even though we had the better seed. But of course, we had the first four at UD.
Same thing this year, man. Two road games.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man, hey, that was the first time I ever been in a Big Ten gym. I was like, what is
I
going
never been
on
to
up in
I
here?
never been to Carver Hawkeye. I think that's what they call it.
Carver is man, it was loud. And then my
Word.
junior year, I think we got I don't think we didn't ever went. We got a CIT invite, I think, but we didn't go. So it was
So
like my
yeah,
senior year was now or never.
right. So you at Archie's house and to see that name pop up, and so after you see a name, you see the opponent. Is there another level of excitement because we playing an Ohio team?
First of all, for sure, going into it, we didn't care. Just show us our name. But then we saw Ohio State, we were like, "Mwah, this is a win-win. This is
Yeah.
great." Because I know for sure we had been trying to schedule them years before while I was there. And, it's
Okay.
kind of like a trap game for them. They're supposed to beat us. If they lose, it looks bad on them. So we got Ohio State, and it was like they were a good team, but it wasn't the best Ohio State team. So we were kind of like,
That's
we
fair.
can
Yeah.
definitely beat them. And at that time, we're beaming with confidence because you let us get in. We in a dance now. Like, anything is possible. We knew that. But man, you know what? I'll never forget. We played Cuse was next. If we beat Syracuse, I mean, if we beat Ohio State, we would play
Like
Syracuse.
Syracuse, right? Hmm.
Probably. They played Western Michigan, which was even more ironic because my mom and dad had went
Oh
to
wow. Yeah,
Western
yeah,
Michigan.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So either
But
either way, if
it
y'all
was
got
gonna
past,
be
there was something,
something, yeah.
legitimate.
But I'll never forget that week of practice. We were preparing for Ohio State. I gotta give Archie credit. We were going over Syracuse 2-3 zone the whole week. And I don't know if Archie was trying to put that in our head subconsciously or what. But in our minds was like, okay, obviously we won on a game winner. Shout out to V, my boy.
V. Shout out
Just
V. Yeah, man.
just just saw V while I was here. He came to see me play when we went to Monaco's.
Nice.
Yeah. But
Nice.
subconsciously we were already thinking like, okay, we gonna beat Ohio State.
That's the whole point of that defines a good coach, and players can feed off of that energy,
Hmm.
or they can sense, oh, he's got confidence in us that we're gonna take care of business. That with that, with that practice, throughout the week working on that. I mean, yeah, shout out to him for instilling that in y'all minds, whether it's consciously or subconsciously.
Yeah.
We going to the round of 32. So yeah, that Ohio State game, I was in New Orleans in my house at the time watching, and it's crazy because my wife, she went to Ohio State, and
Okay.
her father was living with us at the time. He's a
Yeah.
huge Buckeye fan. And
Yeah.
so I'm getting into the game. I'm seeing how close it is. Every
Yeah, we
couple
might have
buckets
some.
I'm clapping. I'm clapping. I'm like, okay, here we go. And so, it gets down to the end, and obviously V comes in with the floater, and it was like I just jumped and screamed, and they like UD too, just because they want to
Of
support
course.
me.
Of
But there
course.
was a little extra like, yeah, yes,
Oh
sir.
yeah.
I was super
I
hyped
love
about
it.
that.
Oh
And
yeah.
then we get to Syracuse, like you said. Now you guys had seen them in Maui. Y'all didn't play them, right? But
Yeah.
they were in Maui at the time.
I think it was kind of like a full circle thing because, we beat Gonzaga in Maui and then we played Baylor. I mean, Baylor had an incredible team at that time too. I'll never forget. It was like end of the game, and we were down one, and I had probably the easiest like tip in, one of the easiest tip ins I had in my college career. And I was so certain that I was going to put it in that I tipped it and I started turning around to celebrate. So I didn't really like guide the ball how I should have. Kind of
Let's talk
rolled out
about
of
it.
the
Let's
rim.
let's talk about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Look, it's,
Can
oh
you show?
man. Yeah, it's up here now. Oh, I was turning to celebrate. I knew it was good. I knew it was good.
Yeah.
And we look, I was like, Devin, you had the tip. And we would have played Syracuse in that championship game.
Right.
So fast forward, we come back and it's the tournament. And I'm like, damn, this feel kind of like destiny, you know? Like we should
Hmm.
have been playing them in Maui to win a Maui championship. So it was kind of cool to kind of circle back around. And obviously they had a good team: Jeremy Grant, Tyler Ennis, Rakeem Christmas.
Hmm.
They had a very good team. I want to say 60, 75% of that season, they were ranked number one in the country.
Right. Got you.
Wait, is that
So
Baylor clip? Is that Baylor clip on YouTube? Yeah, I
yes,
need to go watch that. I'm
it's
still,
actually
I
the full game.
really
I'll make sure I shoot you this link because y'all was in control of that game
the whole
the
game.
whole time. Royce O'Neal made a couple threes at the end.
Super late too. Yeah, because I remember hitting a three to put us up by 6 or something like that, I think. And then
Hmm.
they hit two threes after that, and it was like a super close game. Actually, one of their guards on their team, Kenny Cherry, is my guy. We played in
Okay.
Paris together,
Okay.
and we talked about that game.
In that Syracuse game, another close game, crazy game. Y'all guys end up winning by 2. Tyler Ennis came down, shot a long 3, missed it. It's funny because that game, looking at the stats, they went 0 for 10 from 3 that game. I don't know if y'all guys were defending it, that well,
Yeah.
or they were just off that game.
What's funny about that is like I remember the post game press conference after that, and I remember Coach Boeheim saying something to the extent of they didn't really defend us well, we just missed shots. And I always thought to myself like,
Mm,
dang man, I mean you can give us a
mm.
little credit. I felt like we defended the three well that game. Okay, of course you got to make shots,
Yeah.
but I thought we did a good job that game of defending the three. And I'll never forget like Tyler Ennis was dribbling down and we were kind of getting back and I was like, this dude is for sure about to go for the game. Then he kind of dribbled up and pulled it.
Yeah.
And it was right on, just a little long, hit the back rim. I always respected him for that, I swear, because I was like, man, he was like, I'm one and done. I'm headed out anyway. I might as well go for the win. Yeah. So he went for it. We just happened to get the good bounce right there, man.
Let me read something, see if
Yeah.
you recall this message. Congrats to the Dayton Flyers on a huge upset win. Devin Oliver, I may need to take you up on that pickup game one of these days. BO. Talk to me about
Barack, Barack. Yeah, man. We won a challenge in high school. Well, first and foremost, that was just absurd. I remember Eric Farrell, the family friend. I need to message Eric
that. Shout out
actually.
E.
And
Shout out E.
yeah, shout out to E. He came up to me after the game. We were going to the stands to watch the next game, to watch the whoever was playing next, and he was like, "Did you see the tweet?" And I was like, "What tweet?" And then he showed me that. Like, whoa! And I don't know if necessarily if it was straight from Barack, but
From
when I
Barack. Yeah,
saw the hyphen,
he had his hands on the phone and doing, yeah, you don't know. It
yeah,
says the White House, so that's
yeah.
what the official tweet came from, is the White House. So
But in high school, we won a challenge, it was a race to the top commencement challenge, and he basically you had to submit a video. Each high school had a chance to submit a video in order to get Barack to come, President Obama to come and speak at your high school graduation. Oh, a bunch of the private schools with a lot of money have very precise, concise, beautiful videos. Production team and me and like 10 of my other classmates, we put together a video and it was just, you could tell that we had done it, right? Like we had gone through and edited and did everything with it. And he ended up choosing us. So we won that. And he came to our school and we got to shake his hand. Basically, we got our diploma, and everyone was going up there. I remember everyone was going up there, and they were just like shaking his hand and moving along. I'm like, man, this is President Obama. This is the first black president. Like, this is a big deal for me.
yeah,
I'm really he was half, so I was like, that resonates with me.
right.
Yes. So I got up there and I was like, President Obama, hey man, we should play one of these days. And he kind of laughed and was like, no, that's who you need to talk to behind me. And Arnie Duncan, who was the Secretary of Education, he was a good player at Harvard University, lefty too. So I kind of laughed at that. And that was the little exchange we had. So somewhere down the line within the tournament, I spoke about that story. I think the White House or President Obama got word of that. And then that's where the tweet came from. So it was cool. It was cool, man.
Yeah, no, that's big time. I mean, I kind of remember faintly that whole situation, but
Yeah.
just to hear that perspective, that's pretty cool. So you got the tweet. Y'all move on to the next weekend, the Sweet 16. That's in Memphis, and y'all guys play Stanford. Now, obviously, y'all played some good opponents. Ohio State, Syracuse was, like you said, number one, I think, through
I
part
think
of
so, yeah,
that season.
for sure.
So what's the confidence level like going into that Stanford game? Because they were a double digit seed too, just like you
Yeah,
guys.
yeah. I think they were 10 or somewhere around there. And I was like, no disrespect to this team because Jason Randall, Josh Hustis, Dwight Powell, Brown, I forget his first name. I think Anthony Brown.
Anthony
Four of
Brown.
those, yeah, four of those guys are NBA guys, like they had a good team. But after we had beat Ohio State and beat Syracuse, we're not thinking about what you're going to do at the next level. We're thinking right now. We saw that 10
Yeah,
seed and we beat those two teams. We were like, bro, there's no way. Our confidence was, at that point, there was truly nothing to lose. And beyond that, our confidence was just soaring. So we felt connected. We felt like we could lose, and we played that way. I think that game, we just came out with a bounce to us. It was like, oh, there's no
yeah,
way. We didn't come this far to lose to a 10 seed when we an 11 seed. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Right, right.
It was
And
that
that
kind of
that
mentality.
that game, our guys won by I think 10. So
Okay.
that had to feel like 20 compared to winning by one against Ohio State and winning by two against Syracuse. You
Yeah.
up 10. That's a comfortable win.
I remember, I don't know whatever point we were at. We were like up 8 or 9 with however many minutes left. It was like, oh, yeah, we're good. There ain't no way we're losing this one.
Right. With that win, you're in Memphis. There has to be like this excitement that's around the team, not just on the court and in the arena, but at the hotel, just around the city. I talk about, I guess, some of the highlights of the hypeness of the UD community, the Flyer Faithful there in Memphis.
Yeah. Oh man, it was Bill Street was one of the coolest. I don't know how long we were there, a week or so period of time that I've ever experienced in my life. I mean, like the Flyer faithful, how they travel, how they maneuver going to away games, in
Just
season
regular
tournaments early.
games. I can't imagine Sweet 16, Elite 8. Like
Oh
that
my
had to be
gosh.
nuts.
I mean, walking down Beale Street and all you saw was red, Dayton red. And I was walking with my family. We're going in different spots, and just Flyer fans like Devin, hey, or whoever I was with. I was with some of my teammates. Ultimate excitement. And one of the spots we went to, I don't even know who came up to me at that place, but someone had come up to me and was like, "Roosevelt Chapman is here. Roosevelt Chapman is here." I'm like, "Wow, of course I know who Roosevelt Chapman is. The last guy to do this."
1984, man. That's
Come
that's
on. So I
huge.
was like,
That's
that was
huge.
like the whole storyline. So at one point, me and Roosevelt, we took photos down there. It was just so awesome. The love, the energy. I'm an energy guy. I've always been an energy guy, and just that feeling around I say the city like it's Dayton, but around the
Yeah,
city
yeah.
in
I
Memphis, it was,
mean, yeah, it
oh
probably
my
felt like
gosh,
Dayton,
it became our
because
city. It became our
yeah,
city.
because Stanford, they coming from way out in Cali, and then I
Yep.
forgot who Florida played in their Sweet 16
Yeah.
matchup. Dayton's right there.
I had buddies drive down from they were at Michigan State at the time, but they drove down. Everyone showed up. Everyone showed up, and just the energy was awesome, man.
Right.
I've won 2 championships as a pro. I've played at pretty high levels in Europe, not as high as B Rob in EuroLeague, unfortunately, but I've played at high levels in Europe, and I think that's still one of the best, feelings
It
that
had
I've
to be.
had as a basketball player. Yeah, it was nothing like it.
It had to be. And then you get it done, and now we have Florida, right? So this is the number one team, number one overall seed in the tournament, I believe. They were
Yeah,
like 35-2. They ran through the SEC. I want to ask at this point, are there nerves? Do y'all realize, okay, we are one game away from the Final Four? Like before, the confidence level it is what it is. It's like us against the world type of thing.
right. Yeah,
Now you're in front of everybody, and this is for all the marbles. Like, do you recall like the nerves with the team?
yeah. I honestly no. Part of me is sad about that because I'm like, I don't even remember like looking out at the crowd, like, like doing one of these and saying to myself, wow, wait a minute, this is one game away. I never, it was so much of a blur because I think we were just living in the moment. It was so exciting, something that hadn't been done in so long. We were just kind of riding that wave. And I think it was a good thing though, because probably nerves would have set in to where it was like, man, this is a big moment. Like if you know that pressure starts to wear on you, you know, you have a whole
Yeah,
fan base
yeah,
and a lot of people behind you want to do the best you can for them. But I don't think it ever came. I think because me and my teammates, we were cool, we were connected, and like after the game, before the game, we playing the video game. You know, we watching sports in the top 10 to see if we're on there. We're just like we living in the moment.
gotcha.
So I don't think the big nerves ever really came. It was like a consistent high, as opposed to it being like, oh shit,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
we playing the number one team. We gotta, no, it was just let's just go out
Yeah, I
there and
mean,
play.
before you jumped on, like I watched the game. They had the full game on YouTube as well. But even knowing the outcome, just the build up of watching the pregame stuff too, I'm like, I got goosebumps because yo,
Yeah,
this was for real. Like this was the Elite Eight. This
I
is
was
for the Final Four. So and that's why I wanted to ask about the nerves because me just watching it, already knowing what happened. I'm like,
right.
yo, this is huge, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. I watched the Florida Auburn game. I was like, man, like I'm looking at the crowd in San Antonio. I'm like, we were one game away from being at this.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah,
So close.
right.
So close.
And y'all did y'all think they were super talented, well coached too, Billy Donovan, but y'all came
Yeah.
out and gave it a fight. How did you feel like you played in that game, just personally?
Yeah. Man, I felt great that game. I just remember coming out and being like what I said previously. I didn't really feel any nerves. I was just like, yo, we're here now. Let's just keep rolling. And I think I had like four threes that game. And I was just like, oh, man, it's feeling good. And I always have a little bit of regret because now as a pro too, I really understand the game and how everything works. And timing, especially in basketball, timing is everything. Especially when you consider career and the trajectory of your career and how all that goes.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
wish I would have been a little more selfish in that game. Like, yo, swing it, or like every time I touch it, let's try and shoot it. Let's go down fighting. You went from averaging 1 point your freshman year to this point now, bro. You've earned the right to be able to go out shooting
right,
how you want to shoot.
right, yeah.
So just that little bit is the only thing I kind of regret. I mean, but other than that, I think we fought to the end. We kind of ran into a juggernaut, and unfortunately ended that way.
But no, it was cool to watch and just to understand that moment, man, and to get your perspective on that. Yeah, so no, that Florida game, I was locked in. I'm gonna tell you where I was at. We played the Spurs. We were starting a West Coast trip, and we were in San Antonio in the locker room. And I remember telling people, I'm like, hey, listen, man,
My
if we get this
Flyers.
win against Florida, man, I am going to the Final Four day, Dallas.
I think it was Dallas. I think so.
Dallas.
I actually
I
don't even
I
remember.
said, yeah, it was in Arlington. It was in
Okay. Oh
Arlington.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It was. Yes.
I was telling people along the whole way, like I had the Sweet 16 shirts, the Elite
Yeah,
Eight, like
yeah,
I had
yeah.
all of them, and I was wearing them to the practice.
To
I was
practice,
having them in the
shoot
locker.
around.
I'm like, hey, listen, you see what we doing? I don't know what y'all doing, but
I don't know. I
let
don't
me
know where
see
y'all
your
school was
material.
at.
But you see what we doing. So I was
Facts.
repping super hard, super hard.
I
And
already
so
know.
I remember from San Antonio, we had to go to Utah, and then we played Portland like the day.
Okay, I was gonna ask. So
The,
this is when this is when you was with Charlotte.
this is when I was in New Orleans.
Oh, when you was in New Orleans. Ah, okay, 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 okay.
This was my second year in New Orleans. Yeah. I'm like, listen, y'all. But every day I've been coming in here talking, hyping it up. They get to the four, we gonna have to work something out. I'm like, AD, Drew, let's get a PJ. Y'all money a little bit
Yeah.
different than mine, so maybe we can figure something out. The commercial flights, I'm gonna have to, get some midnight red eyes or something. Like if we could just
I'll be
work on the
there. Gotta
PJs,
be there.
hey, let's go together,
Set it
y'all.
up.
Come on.
Set it up. Set it up. Come on. We can make it a team
But
trip.
nah, yeah, right. Get a couple of y'all to come on. But nah, I
Facts.
was I was just super excited for y'all, obviously, man. And it was just an amazing
Yeah.
time period for everyone. So after that game, tell me about going back to campus and the rest of the school year. Obviously y'all were probably getting all kinds of love from everybody.
Yeah. I mean, that was the one thing. Like, we were Final Fours. That's Final Four is different. We was right there. But man, we went back to campus. It was like I was telling some of my guys on my team today. I had teachers emailing me like, "You're good. Don't come to class." Don't, you're good.
Oh,
You're good. Don't worry about it. You're
oh,
good.
I love it. I love it.
So we was just like, man, it was just so much love. I mean, even in general, like even you talking about how you were, like I know that's the kind of love we were getting from everybody within UD, you know. So like you're playing for something more. Like, you know, the blue bloods, most of the time you're gonna
Yeah,
be in those
yeah,
positions, right?
yeah, yeah.
Back on campus, man. I always remember like Dr. Curran was crowd surfing and man, just seeing the parties,
Uh,
not even necessarily the parties,
oh
but of
yeah,
course, we're in
yeah.
college, the parties.
I definitely saw the pictures of
We
in the
were
ghetto
so
there. Like,
sick we couldn't be there. We were like, this is crazy.
nah, it was wild. Yes,
Crazy. So yeah, once we got back, man, we was moving, you know, we was going to Tim's, hanging
yeah,
out, like it was all love.
right.
And we just soaked it up, man. We enjoyed it. We enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. I mean,
Much deserved, man.
I'm bonding with those guys forever. You know what I mean? Bonding with those guys forever. I gotta tap back in with a couple of the guys, but like most of us stay in touch pretty frequently.
That's dope. I know it had to be just the easiest, smoothest last couple months you could ever even imagine
Chilling,
having.
chilling. I was already kind of ahead. Shout out to Beth Flack, our academic advisor.
Hmm. Hmm.
She was like my mom in college. I was kind of already ahead, but they were like,
Yeah.
"You're good, you're good."
Right, right. So after UD, you start to think about your pro journey. You played summer league, and trust me, I know how summer league goes. When it's like we got guys we wanna really look at, and then we hear an agent wants to bring you here. That's cool. We'll
Mhm.
bring you on.
Like with Boston, we had Kelly Olynyk and Marcus Smart. They already signed. They got all the minutes. And you know, Boston's a winning organization. So like they was trying to win summer league. Like I didn't even really get a chance, you know? And
Yeah,
I was just
yeah.
like, from then on, like I was sour to it.
I know that didn't work out as far as the NBA level, but you played in a lot of countries. You went to Belgium, you went to Israel. I played in Israel, so I know kind of that
Yeah.
journey. France and Germany, and then Slovenia. You was hooping on the court, and you was doing your thing off the court. Obviously,
Yeah.
that's where
Yeah.
you found the one for you. I guess touch on some of the highlights of your journey up to this point on the pro front.
Yeah. You know, my first year was like the easiest transition. I had American coach and I had American manager. And I had
That's
a great
huge. That's huge.
That was big time for me because you know, Matt Derenbecker, who's my roommate in college, literally in the airport, I got the call that he had taken his own life. So it was like I was
Yes.
going over that with that heavy on me, right? And I got over there, and the transition was real smooth, and it was like amazing, man. I had a great group. I had an OG, Seamus Boxley, who had been playing for years overseas. Really like taught me the game, looked out for me, like you know, kind of showed me
Mhm.
the ins and
Mhm.
outs.
Yeah.
And we went to the playoffs, so everything was good. I was like, this is amazing, you know. And then my next year, I went to Israel, and money was late. I was like, yo, what's
It
going on?
happens. It
What's going
happens.
on? I know now that that's normal, right? But at the time, I didn't know. So that was like an eye-opening experience for me. Um, but then after that, each year was learning something new, finding a new country. And I think, especially now as I'm older, I can sit here and say that the biggest thing for me was like learning so much about different cultures, different people, different religions, different parts of the world. Like that became so cool to me because I'm such a people person. I fiend to be around people, right? So for me, that was the best part. I was like, there's so many people that are so different from me. Like I grew up in Kalamazoo, Michigan, you know, which is pretty diverse. My elementary school and high school and everything was pretty diverse, but I was like, this is
Mhm. Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
And obviously I could have came back, especially early on to go play summer league or whatever, but I was just like, man, I'm good. I'm seeing the world,
Yeah.
you know, obviously
And when
then I
and
met
when you're
my
playing in
wife,
Europe, and when you're playing in Europe too, you don't necessarily want to come back and go right back into hooping. Trying to get ready for summer league. Like you want to, those seasons are long, man. Overseas, those
especially
are
early
long
on,
grinds.
like an American kid, American man over there. It's like, yo, I miss my family. I miss my friends. These 2 months I got in the summer, man, I'm trying to hang out with my people.
Hmm.
I'm trying to see my people. So, but yeah,
Yeah.
man, you asked for highlights. Two of my biggest highlights were in Slovenia, uh, just so I don't get in trouble. meeting my wife was number one. But
Right.
also like
For
I
sure.
won
For sure.
championships. I won championships in Slovenia. Like I had like really good success there. It's always great when you're having success. But it's been fun, man. And then I would say also Japan. We
Yeah,
talked
talk
a
to
little
me.
bit.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. You played in different countries and different areas than I did. I never touched, the Asia league, and I know they are, I guess, different than European leagues. So I guess
Yeah.
talk about that experience. And was your daughter born there, or was she born in?
Yeah, my daughter was born in Tokyo. I
Okay.
think that's probably a huge reason why. But, in Europe, especially early on in my career, it was always like there's not a lot of respect for Asian league. It's not real basketball, right? And at that time, it's definitely not as good as it is now. It's definitely improved, especially Japanese league. But I remember my last year in Turkey before I went to Japan, it was just like getting a little bit older and like the disconnect between us as players and the coach that I had, it was like, man, like my grandparents are getting older, my family's getting older, and you are over here berating me. And like if I was being excuse my language, if I was being an asshole and coming in every day not doing my job, that'd be one
Right.
thing. But I'm coming in, I'm being professional. I get along with the locals, I get along with the foreigners. You know what I mean? Like I'm good with the
Yeah.
people around the arena and we just killing us. And I was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm done. I
Yeah.
can't
Yeah.
do it. I was mentally over it. And then my agent called me and was like, Japan, da da da. And I was like, Japan. Then I got over there and it was like win, lose, or draw. We love you. We love
Right.
you. And at that time in my career, I really needed that. To this day, I stay in contact with fans through social media from Japan. And it just like switched my mindset back. Like basketball became fun again. And I was so used to being like the team guy, right? Like I talked about earlier. Like in Japan, it's just you and one other foreigner on the court.
I was gonna say, you get over there, like China, Japan, they are looking to you to
You got
score
to go.
25, 30. Like that's what your role is. Like that's what you're here
Yes.
for.
And it was fun. I was like, I hadn't had this since high school. So I was like, this is fun. Fans cheering for you, games sold out. I was like, oh, this is cool. I like this. And then we just fell in love with it. And then obviously my daughter was born there.
Was there
Yeah, it
any
was
kind
fun.
of, were you nervous, I guess, to have a child born overseas? All my kids were
We're
born
born
here in
at
the
home.
States.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've had teammates, kids born in Germany, um, I think Spain too. What was that mindset like, knowing we're going to give birth here in a foreign country in Japan?
I mean, I gotta give wifey a lot of credit, I mean, she's Slovenian, so she's from Europe. There's some countries I don't think we would have done it in. She would have went back to her home country. But after being in Japan for that first year before, she got pregnant, we just could see how safe it was. They're very much by the book. Everything's in order. And as Americans, like something's a little bit easy. We gonna slide to the right a little bit, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Japan don't matter. It could take 3 more extra hours. They are walking that line. But as you start to live there and like you live in a daily life there, you start to respect it because it's like, man, this works. Day by day, this works. So actually funny, we were going to go to a Japanese hospital in Yokohama, which is where we were. It's like 30-40 minute train from Tokyo.
Okay.
And we went to like, you obviously have all appointments before your baby is born. Their thing is it's a Japanese thing. You can't do body to body, or I forget what the term is for when the baby first comes out. Like they
You
take
you
the
can't
baby.
you can't do that.
In traditional Japanese hospitals, they don't do that. They want to start the mother to begin her resting time so she can recover, and they take care of the baby. Obviously, they're taking good care of the baby, but I'm like, that's a big thing for us, like
That's huge. Yeah.
that's something that we want.
Th-
So we ended up finding an international hospital in Tokyo, and obviously you get health insurance, everything for the team. So I think we ended up paying like 2 grand, which is okay in America. If you like, especially you don't have insurance, that's super light.
Yeah, that's nothing.
Yeah. So, but the hospital was incredible, man. I mean, my wife just had to hit a button. They would come and give her foot massage. So it was really, really an incredible experience. But I give my
Yeah.
wife credit. She was like, I want you to be there, you know, to see the birth of our daughter. Well, we didn't know what it was at the time, but our
You didn't.
daughter.
You guys
No, we
didn't.
didn't figure out the gender.
Why? So I'm confused with that. The thinking behind not knowing what you're gonna have. Because I mean, I got five. I gotta know. We gotta know. I'm like, all
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
what are we prepping for here?
yeah. It's funny because like now we want to have another kid. And it's like, I think we want to know this time. But that first time, it was just like, I don't know, maybe it's a cultural thing where it's like her family's European, my family's American. We just didn't want a
Right.
specific label on what the baby was going to be and like start prepping.
Did you
And
have the
also,
names? Did you have some names picked out that
yeah,
you
yeah,
were,
yeah.
either side?
We had,
Okay. All right.
so my wife comes from, is her sister, her mom, and her dad. So her dad's the only guy in their house. So that's my guy. So he growing up with women. So we had 10, 15 good girl names. We had two boy names. So I think we were destined to have a girl. I also think the other thing was just like, that's like one of the very few genuine surprises you have in life. Remember, first of all, I'm watching my wife deliver a baby, which is some of the craziest shit I've ever seen in my life.
Right. Right.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing. But I was just like, this is crazy. And then like the nurse pulls my daughter out, and I'm like, first of all, girl, you look like an alien. This looks crazy.
Trust me. Yeah. Listen, that first time,
I was like,
baby comes out, it's like, oh, okay. I thought that was it. Like, I'm like, okay, baby's, done. And then a few minutes later, they have this thing come out, the placenta. I'm like, what is that thing? Not
more.
only an alien comes out, now this alien like sack comes out. Like, what is it? What's inside? What else is there? Like, this
I'm
was,
like,
I almost
this is
passed out. I'm
all,
gonna be honest
this
with
is
you.
all in your body. This is
Dog,
crazy. From then on, I was like, I mean, I've always respected women, duh, because that's how I was raised. But I'm like, yo, y'all got it for real. It's
bro, literally almost
crazy
passed
to
out
see.
at Miami Valley Hospital because that's where
Miami
our
Valley,
dog,
yeah.
our oldest was born my senior year,
You
and
senior year,
so
yeah. I was telling my mom, I was like, B Rob had his first when he was in college. I remember
yeah,
that.
yeah, my senior year. And yeah, so I was in the hospital with her. And then I said, are you sure? Are you cool? Practice is right down the street. She said, yeah, if anything happens, I'll make sure, somebody calls you. So I
Yeah,
get to the practice gym right there on campus. I hand my phone
yeah.
to Nate. I say, Nate, as soon as your
Hey,
phone ring,
Nate
hold this up.
Seymour.
As soon as you see it ring, hold it up and let me know. So we get into practice, like 15 minutes into practice. I look over, Nate's like, y'all, I'm out, y'all. I'm out. And so
Gotta go.
they all knew we played St. Bonaventure the next night. So
Okay.
they went ahead and flew after practice to St. I
Yeah,
stayed the night in the hospital, with my
yeah,
my girl at the time, who's my wife now, and
yeah.
Billy, Coach Schmidt, shout out to him, man. He stayed
I'll
around
tell
with
you
me.
what, that B Rob man, that B Rob, he.
Hey, he stuck around. He
I
stuck
never Coach
around
Schmidt.
with me.
Oh, that's
He stuck
cool. That's
around,
cool.
and then we flew. We took an early flight, the game day to St.
Yeah.
Bonnie's, and yeah, man.
Oh
So that
man,
that was my little birthing story. But yeah,
that's cool.
man. Shout out to.
How'd you play that game?
I ended up having like I think 23, 21, something like that. So I was tired, but hey,
Oh, I
I'm
bet.
like I'm
Pure adrenaline. Pure
adrenaline was
adrenaline.
going. So 11 years
Yeah.
as a pro, man. How much longer you got? Because that's about when I start looking at my watch. I'm like, my body is not feeling the same way.
But the difference is you had a few of them NBA checks.
True,
I'm
true,
collecting European
true,
checks.
true,
No,
true.
but I've done a good job of handling my business, so
Good.
everything's good. But I don't know, man. Like this conversation obviously floats around a lot more now than it did before, right?
Hmm.
Um, my body still feels pretty good. I'm for sure a little bit slower. Can't jump as high can't jump as high as I used to. But like mentally, I feel like I'm in my best point right now. Like,
That's the key. I knew when I started, thinking about, man, I don't know if I got the same juice, the same fire
yeah,
mentally. Yeah, like physically, yeah, I could maneuver, I could figure out ways to get around,
yeah,
but
yeah.
when you lose it up here, it's like,
That's when it
it's time to,
shifts.
yeah.
Because I find
Hmm.
myself in practice middle of the week, and it's like, bro, I don't want to be at practice. And I get into practice, and I'm like, I'm competing. I'm like, I'm in it. So I'm like, if I still got that, then the games are still easy, right?
Hmm.
If practice is like that, the games are still easy. So I'm still enjoying it. I mean, I'm trying to steal a few more checks for sure.
No, keep playing. That's what I
Um,
said. Keep playing as
yeah,
long as you can, man. Because once
it's
it's
it.
done, it's done.
Yeah, exactly. It's interesting because it's like I was in Asia and then I'm here back in Europe and we're kind of in the mix for playoffs. France has three EuroLeague teams, and especially being a guy who played in Europe for the majority of my career, like EuroLeague was always the goal, the dream, right?
Hmm.
I don't know if that's gonna happen, but like now do I try and tailor back to go back to Asia and get some of those good checks to finish it out? Or do I really like try and grind out a couple more years in Europe and maybe someone needs a 3-and-D guy, veteran on the bench that can, I think that's why being a good person is always important for me because that reflects somewhat to especially late in your career, I would say. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how it's gonna shake out. I'm trying to take it day by day and just kind of see how everything plays out and then sit down with my family and we make a decision.
Right. Respect that. Have you thought about what you want to do after? Is there an urge to maybe get back in the UD community at all?
Yeah, I mean, ideally, because I've been with my agent now for close to 10, like 8, 9 years. He's like a subdivision of Clutch.
Okay.
And I'm a people person. I've been to so many different countries, so I'm kind of leaning towards possibly being an agent or somewhere in like a gray area where I'm connecting with people.
Hmm.
You can do this in Croatia, you can do this in Slovenia, you can do this in Japan. I kind of have a niche, especially American guys coming over to play in these countries. I can give better insight than but I got to figure out a blueprint and game plan on how I want to go about that. Right. I love working with like kids, okay, even college kids. I told you earlier, I find myself, even on my team now, like giving game and like trying to give little tips and tidbits to the guys. But like that
Coach?
coaching schedule is worse than a player schedule.
That's what I always said myself, man. I knew you working way more hours and it's not the same. It's just not the same glamour and glory,
Yeah,
whatever it is, man. So I shout out to all the coaches because yeah, I know
I
that
can't.
is a grind.
It is a grind. So I don't think that's the route I want to go because I want to, be with my daughter and everything. But in reference to the UD community, I definitely want to tap back in with the UD community and start just like putting those lifelines, even if it doesn't come to fruition to something,
Yeah.
um, but just to get back involved with the community because it meant so much to me, and to my family, my mom and dad. My dad would call me, man, I was watching you dating highlights from man, like they were 100% bought into everything. So I definitely want to reach back in. I know I'll be in the States for around the TBT time this summer too. So
You jumping back on there?
yeah,
Red Scare?
I know I was getting emotional and being announcing my retirement via TBT. I might have to tap back in, but I need a little more leverage, a little more power, guys. I'm a veteran over there now, so like, listen, this is how it's gonna go.
Yeah, yeah, you got a little more say now for sure.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see how everything plays out and pans out. Summer is so short because half of it's in Slovenia, half of it's in America.
True.
We'll see how it plays out.
That's the point of one of the points trying to start this thing, tap in, with people like yourself and others that just we kind of forget because life happens, guys are overseas, guys are doing what they're doing wherever they're at and get back in front of the UD community or whoever's, watching my platform. It's just cool to talk with guys. You got a big, following yourself and you've made a hell of a career, out of this thing. If there's something there that, might come from after this. You never know.
Yeah.
But before you get out of here, man, I just wanted to ask you about Maya and the influence of your sister on your career, your mentality. Just talk about her influence on your life.
Yeah, I mean, I said it many times before, and I say it even now. Like, she's just always been the blueprint, like no matter what success I've had, I gotta give a lot of credit to mom and dad because they always raised me that way to always consider and think about my sister, right? But no matter what success I've had, how far I've gone, Elite Eight, championships as a pro, I always have my sister there to look back and listen, she's a popular girl. Let's not get it twisted, but it's always a little bit different, I always was like, she always kept me humble. Like, first of all, I never looked at her as different. I always treated her as she was just like me. So I'm constantly hard on her. My mom and
Hmm.
dad I tell them they're soft on her because she's one of the most capable people I've ever met in my life. She's incredibly smart and she always showed me that not that you should feel sorry for her, that people should feel sorry for her, but
Right.
her
Yeah.
experience is different than what my experience is. And I feel
Absolutely.
like that's,
Absolutely.
especially early on. Now I'm like to think I'm a lot more mature and I understand ego and where you are as a man and family and
Hmm.
what really
Hmm.
truly matters. But she always kept me in a space where it was like Look at your sister. You got to make sure that she's taken care of. You got to make sure that she's good. Don't get too far ahead of yourself. So she's always done that. And it's been really cool to know. She's got a boyfriend now, which for many years I was completely against.
Right. Yeah. As a
But
grown,
I'm
yeah,
like, damn,
you got
this
to
is a
protect
grown,
that. Yeah.
this is a grown woman though. She deserves to have a boyfriend, you know? And see her transition into being an aunt to my daughter
Oh yeah. I didn't
has
think
been
about that. Yeah.
it's been really, really cool. So something's on the horizon. When I'm done and settled, me and her are gonna put something together to where she can really have an avenue where she can show who she is and what she's capable of. And also many years down the line, 100, mom and dad are someday no longer on this earth. My sister's gonna be with me, and my family, which is known. My wife don't play, so I'm like Smooch. We call her Smooch. If you Smooch, you gotta be ready.
Yeah.
You can mom and dad can't hold you down forever. You a grown woman, you gotta take care of business.
Right.
She understands that I treat her and look at her that way.
That's dope.
Yeah, my Janae,
That's
she's
dope,
probably
man.
gonna take this last part of this interview too and take it and run with it when she
Oh
sees
yeah, I
it.
don't want to hold you up too much longer. I appreciate you jumping on here. Like I
I
said,
have
man, your
fun.
journey, your insights are definitely appreciated. And before you go though, I gotta ask one
Yeah.
last question though.
Okay.
Do you think the 2020 team makes it past the Elite Eight? Do you think they make it past further than you guys?
It's so crazy. And I was like, I hope B Rob asked me about the 2020 team.
I had to. I had to.
Part of Devin Oliver. Is not happy that their season was stolen from them. I
Oh
definitely didn't
yeah,
want that.
that was a
But
killer.
I'm still kind of
Y'all
I'm
got it.
the
Y'all got
last
it.
to have yes. For sure, boy. I was so in love with that team. And I was close with Trey and I still talk to Ryan and a lot of the guys from that team. And obviously Obi is doing what he's doing now. But you talk about when we went to Elite Eight and you was walking around like,
Oh,
man, you should have seen me that year. What y'all ranked? We about to get a one seed. Hey, we about to get a one seed.
one seed for sure. I was here in Charlotte. I was getting ready to go to Cleveland because I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure that they're going to be a one seed in Cleveland. So
for sure.
I'm getting my thoughts together. I'm like,
Ready for my
ah,
interviews and however it's about to go. I'm prepared.
yeah, exactly. And then boom,
Was so tough. Oh, it was so tough.
tough.
Just that stretch though of COVID, like 15, 20 years from now, we're gonna look back like what was going on.
What? Yeah, what was that? Like, but yeah, y'all
Yeah,
guys still got the crown right now. So
we
until
got it for
somebody
now.
can dethrone y'all, 2014 is a
I
special
I
team.
hope I hope it happened when I'm done with my career, so that when we do make the run, I can go. Could you imagine the link up? Because I know a bunch of guys will come back.
Oh my goodness, yeah,
Could you imagine that?
it'll be crazy. It will be
Man,
crazy.
it'll be
I'm gonna
awesome.
be right in there with y'all. I'm gonna be right in there
It
with
will
y'all.
be awesome. It will be awesome.
Put it out there. It's gonna happen. It's
Yeah,
gonna
it's gonna
happen.
happen. Yes, sir. It's definitely gonna happen.
I love it. I love it. Devin, man, I
Yeah.
appreciate you,
I
dog.
appreciate
And
it, B Rob. It was an honor, bro. It was an honor, truly. I have
bless you,
fun.
man.
Looking
Stay
forward to see the end
healthy.
result. Yeah,
Stay healthy, and blessings to you and the fam over
absolutely.
there, man.
Same to you and yours, brother.
Got
Nothing
you,
but
bro.
love. Talk soon.
Got you. Hey, give it up for Devin, man. Demo, great conversation, great insights about his whole journey, about that special 2014 team. So thank you to him. And thank you to you guys for tuning in, checking this out. Frequent Flyer with B Rob. That was episode 5. And we're going to keep going. Great guests, great background stories. So until next time, it's the Frequent Flyer with B Rob. I'll see you guys. Peace.